Hibiscus, a love stitched in time. The sun filtered through the gauzy curtains of the Delhi tailor shop, casting delicate patterns on the marble floor. Noor sat by the window, her hands working seamlessly over a crimson bridal lehenga, each stitch a silent prayer. For 10 years now, her fingers had sewn dreams into fabric, quietly hiding the one she had never dared to stitch, her own. The shop, inherited from her father, was a relic of another era. It stood tucked between the goldsmiths and the sweet shop in Chandni Chowk, stubbornly resisting the modern boutiques that now dotted the city. Noor had grown up among silks and sequins, learning to read people through their choices in embroidery. But love? That remained a story other people lived and she only dressed. That was until Arman walked in. He wasn't her usual client. Tall, casually dressed, with a soft stubble and eyes that had seen far too much. He carried an old sherwani wrapped in brown paper. "I need this restored," he said, placing it on the counter. "It was my grandfather's. My wedding's in 2 months." Noor nodded, examining the antique piece. It was hand-stitched, regal, but worn. Much like the man standing in front of her. As she took his contact details, their fingers brushed briefly. Something flickered between them, familiarity? Or longing? She dismissed it. Customers came and went. She had no business catching feelings for someone else's groom. Over the weeks, Arman returned for fittings. Slowly, the conversation stretched beyond fabric choices. He talked about his late grandfather, about growing up in Lucknow, and his mother who raised him alone. She told him about her father's death, how she took over the shop at 19, how thread had been her only constant. One day, as she adjusted the sherwani's collar on him, her hands paused. "Are you in love with her?" she asked suddenly, then regretted it. Arman looked at her, startled. Then smiled softly. "I thought I was. But sometimes, we love people for the idea of them, not who they really are." That night, Noor couldn't sleep. The rain tapped on her windows like it wanted to whisper truths she wasn't ready to hear. Her dreams were stitched with stolen glances and what-ifs. She hated herself for hoping. The next day, he brought her a packet of warm jalebis and didn't say a word. They ate in silence, but their silences had started to speak. 2 weeks before the wedding, he brought her the final payment. "The sherwani's perfect," he said. "Just like I remembered my grandfather in it." She forced a smile. "You'll look just as grand." He hesitated at the door, turned around, then said, "Come to the wedding." Noor blinked. "Why?" "Because I'd regret it if you didn't see me one last time." "One last time," she echoed, heart skidding. But he was already gone. The wedding was at a haveli in South Delhi. Noor arrived in a sea green kurta, her heart armored under calm expressions. The moment she saw him at the mandip, her breath caught. He looked timeless, regal. And yet, she saw the flicker of hesitation in his eyes. Then the whispers started. She didn't show. Ran away. Cold feet. Noor felt like the ground had shifted. Arman stood up. In front of everyone, he removed the sara. "This wedding isn't happening," he announced. "I can't marry someone I don't love." Gasps. Chaos. But Noor stood frozen. He walked straight to her. "I waited till the last possible moment," he said quietly. "Because I wasn't sure you'd come." "What are you doing?" she whispered. "Something mad. Something right." He held out his hand. "Will you take a walk with me?" They walked away from the noise, from the judgment, from the expectations stitched into other people's clothes. They ended up outside her shop. The jasmine tree in the corner was in bloom. "I thought I was choosing my legacy," Armand said, "but I was choosing fear." "And now?" she asked. "Now I choose love." A year later, the same shop buzzed with celebration. Noor and Armand married under the jasmine tree, wearing outfits they stitched together. Their love was imperfect, quiet, and fierce. It was stitched with time, with courage, with the belief that sometimes, the threads of fate needed just a little nudge from the heart. And in a world full of labels, Noor finally wore one she had never dared to try on before, beloved. If you believe in second chances, slow burn romance, and love stories woven through destiny, like, share, and subscribe to Whispers of Love. Sparkling Heart. Speech Balloon, tell us in the comments, have you ever found love where you least expected it? Let your story bloom here. Hibiscus.